If it's a lost animal, the first thing you want to do is people send me these pictures and they don't print out. But anyway, this is enough for you to tell. And I just put it right here. And each one of you can just put your hand on that and ask your angels if that cat's still alive. Just take your pendulum and just ask if that cat's still alive. That's all. Just as long as you can see it is the main thing. Just simply ask if that cat's still alive. Whenever you're looking for a lost animal, you ask that, okay? Okay? Go ahead.
I'm getting a yes.
Okay?
I'm getting a yes.
Mine's saying no.
You're gonna know, okay? Well, let me do
So
it.
we can.
No.
And see, I get a no. I don't think the cat's still alive. Okay, but if it was still alive, we would ask it if it wanted to be found, if it wanted to come home. And if a cat doesn't want to come home, or dog either, then you may as well not look because you're probably not going to find it. It's not going to show up for the people. But let's assume that it does want to be found. Because a lot of them do. Cats, first of all, I'll just tell you, you'll find this on your own. Cats,
They lie.
when they leave, usually leave for a reason. And until you make up with them, they're not coming home. I'll tell you a cute little story. A cat this summer up in Middleburg, one of my clients' cats left home, and the cat was still alive. And when I was trying to find out why it left, it said it didn't like those people. Excuse me, it turned out that she had painters in the house. And the painters left the window open and the cat jumped out. And she wasn't coming home. I found her in the woods for the lady went in the woods and saw the cat, but she wouldn't come to her. It was 2 weeks. She went out in the woods every day. And it was 2 weeks before the cat would finally come to her. And each day she apologized to her. But that's kind of what you have to do with cats. If it's a dog and he wants to come to you, he wants to be found. Totally different from a cat. But anyway, what you do is, let's say you have an animal and you've got looked at the picture and it wants to be found. You just go online and you print out a map. You need to know the address that the animal left from. If it left from a place different than where the owner lives, that's where you need to look first. Now, print out that address. And let's just say, I'm going to put a line here in the center of the paper, and let's just say this is the address that it left from. And the map will be all over here. And here again, remember how you held your hand over that page to see if there was negative energy on that corner? You just say, is the dog over this way? Is the dog over this way? And you get a yes, he's over this way. Come here, he's over this way. Nope, he's over this way. So now you know he's in this corner. So you just start bringing your pointer in just like you looked for that energy before.
Can you use your finger
You
as
can
a
use your
pointer
finger,
instead of a
sure,
pen or something?
sure.
Oh, good.
And anyway, you just come in and you'll be able to pinpoint an area that's maybe within 2 or 3 miles. And then you can go in that area and pinpoint on down closer. And you can actually get it to where you can be easily within a quarter mile of where that animal is. It doesn't matter where it is in the world. It doesn't make a bit of difference. You can actually be that close. And I think one that I was thinking about when somebody was talking about the dogs a little bit earlier. A few years ago, there was a little dog named Mouse in New Zealand that little Jack Russell got away. And what happened was the man that owned it gave it to his daughter he lived in Christchurch, and his daughter lived up in Kaikoura. And the dog didn't want to be there, and it just clawed through the screen door and got loose. And it's really rugged country between Kaikoura and Christchurch. But anyway, he called me, and he'd called me several times a day. He had a $1,000 reward for it. So we would each day we'd help locate the dog. And one day when he called, we saw the dog at a house by the Clarence River. And I guess it's about an hour later, the people called him and said they had a dog, it may be his, and sure enough, it was his dog. And what sort of amazing thing to me was, when somebody was just talking about it earlier, when I went to see him in Christ Church, I parked, they lived on the ocean, and you can't park near where they live, you have to park a regular ways away, and I parked, and this little dog ran away from home and come find me. And the man said, she never leaves me like that. But she knew I was there, and she came and found me. So they know that you're around when you're there. But we did, for 7 days, we just traced her. And, but you can do that. But you need a photograph user to make sure that the animal's still alive and wants to be found. If it doesn't, then you're sort of wasting your time. Dogs will move around like cats will usually find an area that they like, and they'll probably, if one of the cats in this neighborhood left home, he probably would just go across the field to one of those houses. He probably wouldn't go too far before somebody would take him in. But people don't feed dogs. Cats can find mice and rabbits and everything else to eat, so they don't fret. But a dog doesn't know how to catch a mouse or a rabbit or anything. So if somebody doesn't feed them, they just die. But or animal control may catch up with them. But anyway, that's what you do to look for a lost animal. And you get that every day. If you want to practice, every day in your newspaper there'll be lost animals. All you got to do is pick up a newspaper and there'll be lost animals. I'm going to tell you a cute little story about that. When I first learned to do this, I was in New Zealand, and I had some folks over, and in the newspaper, I was telling them how we could find lost animals. In the newspaper, there was a picture of a little dog, and I said, okay, what you do is you ask if it's still alive, and from a newspaper I got, yes, it was still alive. So we called the people and asked them if they'd like to help us, for us to help them find it, and they said they would. So when we went over the map, we marked an area where there was a psychiatric hospital. And, of course, told the people back, and they sent us a more detailed map of the area and asked us if we could pick up what building it was. So we picked this particular building. And it turned out that her husband had worked in that particular building. And anyway, the hospital was closed. And they got a key, and they went in. And in that particular building, not in her husband's office, but in another office, was a picture of the dog on the wall. We never did find the dog. The dog was probably dead. But there was... Yeah, from that picture we had picked it up right in the area we marked in on the building. So that's how close you can be with this. And you can just be spot on. When I say spot on, we have actually been spot on. I have one client over in Petersburg that he has a bunch of dogs and they were getting away, and he would just call here every 20 minutes while he was following them. He was just following his dogs and calling me every 20 minutes just to see what direction they were in. And he found them all. But you can be that close, you really can. Once you learn to listen and tune in, it's not much you can't do. It really isn't.